and that's when I then started to practice tennis. I was pretty sore, and then coming onto hard courts, I think that just accentuated the problem. So yeah, Toronto and Cincinnati, I was definitely struggling, and I think probably overcompensated a little bit, and then instead of it just being on my right side, it was my left side, so it was a bit of an ongoing saga, but I seem to be doing all right with it.
Yeah, have you not played any golf?
No, not now.
There you go, see?
Yeah,
okay, that's
exactly.
all. 3 5-setters the guys won already, and you know, maybe
not
more
bad
to come.
for a 30-something, huh?
Happy birthday, by the way.
You only got me something smaller.
How's it feel to be 30?
Feels good. I woke up a lot wiser, I think, than the next morning. I felt pretty wise and a little bit more mature than I was
Just
before.
wait till you hit 40,
yeah.
And here's a little
what was
tip.
it like
this
when
guy's
you
going
hit
to be 50 in January, so he can, you know, let's do an interview around February time, and we'll see what it's like to be 50.
What was it like when you were 50?
Yeah, when you were 50, what was it like?
50?
No, my hair, I still got a little bit. It's a lot of gray. It's tough to commentate your matches, man, you know, especially at Wimbledon, I'll tell you.
It's my fault again, wasn't it?
You know, I get a little grayer. No, I feel pretty good, actually. You see, you feel better than ever. You're playing better than ever.
Thanks.
October 3rd, Superset Tennis, Wembley Arena. You two guys are playing. What's that all about?
I know. What a draw that would be, through to the semis.
No,
that's going to be good.
No, that's going to be fun because it's 8 guys that play 1 set each, and so if you win 3 sets, you win some incredible amount of money. And,
you've played in it before?
I've never played in it.
Haven't you?
I've never played in it. I never got the call, but I guess, you know, guys were tired, and you know, they wanted a couple of old guys. So actually, Boris and I are playing. So we're
and Goran as well?
Yeah,
Goran's also playing, and Ruzetsky, so he'll be pumped up if he hears this quote I just made, and you know, if we play, and you know, get hammered a couple times.
Nadal and hrbaty. I mean, what do you think that'll be like? Yeah.
I think it's going to be exciting. So hopefully everyone's going to come out to Wembley Arena, I believe is where it's going to be. So that, you know, listen, 1 set's better chance than hell of a lot better than best of 5. I know it goes from 0 to, you know, at least 10 or 15 that I could maybe pull out an upset.
19 sets that I've played in the last 4 matches.
So you only have what?
3 sets.
Think, you know, 5, 10, 15 more to go.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah. What will that be, a total of 33 and a half or something?
All right, folks.
7.
Listen,
Henry, Tim, thank you very much.
No worries, no worries.
Thanks for coming by, man.
See you.
All right, I'll see you out in the field.
Come on, let me ask you one more question.
All right, you got it, man.
Okay, I didn't want him around.
Who wants him in there?
Okay, so what do you think of the men's draw?
Well, I mean, you know, it looks like, I mean, I predicted that Roddick was going to win it before the tournament. And the way he's playing doesn't make me think that he's not going to. I mean, things obviously get tougher. Federer's the guy that seems, you know, be able to combat his power, you know, better than anyone I've seen. And certainly, I don't know when this is going to be shown, but hopefully we're going to get to do the match between Andre and Federer today, because that's huge, and that's the match, you know, that I've been waiting to call for 10 days, so that will be exciting. And, you know, the winner of that match, oh, look who we have here. And that the winner of that match is going to go in as a heavy favorite in the semis. I mean, but as you well know, sometimes people take things for granted a little bit, or they play a tougher match and they get a little flat. So that opens the door for like a Henman, because, you know, some of it depends on how much he's put out so much already just to get to that point, how much he has left. I mean, it's hard to imagine winning five setters and having to play 3 5-setters, play hrbaty if he were to get through that, to have to, you know, beat an Agassi or Federer and a Roddick would be a tall order. So, I mean, it still, you know, looks to me like Roddick would be the favorite. Hewitt's, you know, is there because, you know, if someone falters, he's the type of guy that'll step up and.
The conditions seem really fast this year, don't they? Does that favor anyone, do you think?
Well, I think it favors Roddick. You know, I think because his game is so powerful. He's the hardest I've ever seen hit a ball. So I think he's favored. I mean, it'll hurt Andre a little bit if it plays that fast, but he's comfortable in these conditions in terms of the crowd and the energy, so that may help him against Federer, you know, because the crowd's really going to be pulling for him. And I'm not sure it would help him against Roddick, but, you know, things get so tense when you can win something, then things tendency to slow down a bit. So if anyone could sort of neutralize him a little bit besides Federer, because we've seen him do that a number of times, it would be Andre.
Okay, last question. You got a new challenge now, talk show host. How's it going? You enjoying that?
Well, it's getting more fun. You know, it's a great challenge. I mean, to try to sort of run things and try to interview people instead of being interviewed, and it's quite exciting. You know, it's been difficult, but I suspect that things will start to get hopefully a little bit easier, and get some people working for me that will make me look better, and it'll be okay, and then get some people to watch.
John McEnroe, a talk show host indeed. Could be interesting stuff. This is 2. It's definitely a date for your diary. Star names involved: Tim, Greg, John McEnroe, you saw there, Boris Becker, Ivanisevic, Nadal, Ginepri and hrbaty. All the big names. Unique tennis event. We're calling it here Tennis with a Twist. It is Superset Tennis. That's its official title. It's exclusively live from Wembley Arena Sunday, October the 3rd. Barry Cowan, what a lineup and what a day in store.
Yeah, it should be brilliant. New concept, and starts in the afternoon with the 4 quarter-finals, and then the evening is when the real big stuff starts, semi-final and final. Winner takes all, £250,000. But I'd like them to fix the draw. Rosetsky-McEnroe.
Who'd you like to see in that final?
Rosetsky-McEnroe, first match, and then it would be good Henman in the final, wouldn't it?
Certainly would be good. What about John McEnroe? Because he's always the entertainer, isn't he?
He's a lot more relaxed off the court than he was on the court. Yeah, it was a great interview, and it's always nice to listen to John McEnroe's views on the game, and yeah, he has some interesting opinions.
What did you make of what he had to say? Because he did say that he thought Roddick was now the clear favourite.
I don't like to disagree with him, but I'm going to stick with my original pick, Federer. I think he's certainly proved in the last year that he's the favourite going into every tournament, irrespective of whether it's clay, hard or grass. And I still feel he's got a few levels to go, but you certainly can't rule out Roddick. He's been sensational so far, but so has a lot of other players in the draw. And
so has our man Tim Henman. Great to see him so relaxed there, especially with that rain delay yesterday.
Well, I certainly feel this year, and especially these 2 weeks, we're seeing a different side to Tim Henman's personality, and it's all for the better. I think he's a lot of unfair criticism over the years, especially from the younger viewers, and I think now we're starting to really see the proper personality, and it's definitely helping his tennis.
OK, Barry, thanks for now. Well, by gone midnight our time, the waiting was eventually over. It was showtime. British #1 Tim Henman went head-to-head with Slovak Dominik hrbaty for a spot in Super Saturday. Having already exceeded expectation, the 5th seed was bidding to reach the semis at Flushing for the first time, knowing a victory would be the icing on the cake of a remarkable birthday week. We join it at the start. Your commentators, Liv Sharas and Mark Petchy.
Playing for set, Tim Henman to serve.
So Henman begins his quest to reach the US Open semi-finals. And not a bad start when you've been hanging around for almost 10 hours. Well, both men quickly into their stride.
Well, by the time you reach the quarterfinals, you're in rhythm, you're confident, and both men showing signs of that very early on. And even something of a smile from hrbaty there, saying, yeah, I'll play, I'm ready.
That's why, but already you can see how well hrbaty can move that ball around from the back of the court and how well he moves himself. How important do you think Henman's slice backhand would be in a match like this?
I think very important. Anytime you can get the ball down low where the players have to hit up and over the net, takes a little bit of their edge off. hrbaty's the type of player, he plays flat off that wing, so he doesn't mind it up high around his chest or even his shoulders.
Oh yes, Henman finds some room down the line. Staying with the shot beautifully. So a day of rain hopefully will turn into a night of tennis, and hopefully again a night of celebration for Henman, and an impressive opening service game there from the British #1.
Well, no better time to establish yourself than in the early phases of the match, and Henman able to play a lot of tennis and earn that game solidly. Did it off the serve. He had to hit both forehands and backhands, so he's ready to go here. So a little pressure now on hrbaty to get his side of the scoreboard moving. Well, a lucky break for Henman. That passing shot hitting the net cord and then over the baseline. Tells you just how hard that ball was struck by hrbaty.
Stunning return by Henman. Really trying to impose his game on hrbaty.
Well, that's an important serve for hrbaty. Follow that over the course of the match. First serve percentage. Well, he's confident and in a good rhythm off that serve. We talked a little bit about that high toss, much like the German Nicholas Kiefer, but so far his timing looks good.
So hrbaty with the unforced error, and an early opportunity here for Henman. And there's the variety from Henman that will cause problems for the Slovak this evening, and he was unable to deal with that. And the British #1 off to a flyer.
Boy, talk about a different start for Henman. Think back to that Kiefer match when he lost the first 4 games. And really, I think Henman crossed hrbaty up. Instead of chipping and charging and attacking the net, he subtly played the short ball, forced hrbaty to come in. Clever play.
Kind of an eerie atmosphere on the grandstand court for a quarter-final of a Grand Slam.
Yeah, it's a little quiet. A lot of people who did, in fact, have tickets for today, you know, it's been a long day of rain, so they've headed home thinking nothing was happening.
Henman's 10th career quarter-final of a Grand Slam. Eight of those have come at Wimbledon. One earlier this year at the French Open, where he progressed past this round and went on to the semi-finals. you think he'll be selective when he's serving volleys?
Well, I think he has to. I mean, hrbaty is the type of player, he counter punches well. Short swings off the two-hander. And you can see hrbaty looking very focused and very intense. Such a significant moment for him.
Again, Henman doing a great job of keeping these rallies fairly short. So the immaculate start for Tim Henman in this quarter-final. And the number 5 seed here leads 3-love. It's been a miserable day so far at Flushing Meadows. It's just got a whole lot brighter, even though we're at night time. Henman off to a wonderful start, and just checking the court surface here, very difficult to see if there's any rain coming down. I don't think so at this moment. All play going on the other courts as we speak. And there you can see again that water that seems to be seeping back in from the stands.
That's good, thank you.
Love 5. It's got to be a bit of a worrying stat for hrbaty as he serves his first double fault, that he, until that last point, he'd actually been serving at 75% in this set.
Well, I think there are plenty of worrying stats, you know, 9 unforced errors, you know, poor serves. Yeah, that's a better serve. You just watch the toss of hrbaty, and it goes up very high and then drifts to the left.
hrbaty was recently comparing his game now to when he was number 13 in the world, and he reckons that he's improved his serve. He said, I try to place it now rather than hit aces. Also said about his backcourt game that he feels as though he's more consistent. Felt in the past, even when he was 13 in the world, that he used to go for too many winners in his matches. So far there haven't been enough in this one.
Thanks. Thank you.
Popped up nicely for Henman. But again, employing the strategy that surely is the most effective one against hrbaty.
Yes, nice recovery off the net.
Henman trying to implement again that little short ball and bring hrbaty into the net, but it doesn't work this time. And the number 22 seed finally gets his first game of this quarter-final encounter. But a mere 20 minutes gone, and Tim Henman will serve for the first set.
Yeah, those kinds of free points are irritating to hrbaty. The man who prides himself on getting the ball back into play. Henman was either finding that ball a little soft or perhaps even damp or wet.
Couldn't play any better right now.
Yeah, he just looks like he's in such a good place with his head and with his game. He's very relaxed. He's seeing the ball, reacting to it well, and he's not pressuring. He's just doing what he needs to do. Perfect execution.
And again, just changing it up a little bit, getting himself into the net. It was a high floated ball from Dominic hrbaty. Henman with 3 set points. Well played by hrbaty. A bit more intensity in the Slovaks' play.
Yeah, and when they are in the backcourt exchanging, Henman's just comfortable putting the ball back into play, saying, how are you going to beat me? I'm not giving you any pace. You may have to come to net to do it, in which case I feel good about my passing shots.
And Henman does it. Henman takes the first of what he hopes is 3 sets that will propel him into the semi-finals of this year's US Open. And it was a cruise, 6-1. Still a little dampness around the edges of the court, and while Henman was sitting down, the towels are out, just trying to mop it all up. But at the moment, he's mopping up hrbaty's challenge here. You see a few spots on the court.
Thanks. That's fine, thank you.
It's not raining though, thankfully, at this stage. hrbaty serving at love 3.
Well, hrbaty will feel good about that point. First time he's been ahead on his serve.
That was Henman's also first unforced error. hrbaty not really dealing with the low pace shot from Henman. And Henman riding his luck as well. Everything going right for Tim Henman at the moment.
And hrbaty does not look comfortable. These low spun balls really confusing him.
This is the 8th appearance at the US Open for the Slovak. His best ever result was the 4th round in 2000. Oh yes, Henman's on fire.
Boy, confident and relaxed, and he's under a bit of pressure here. This isn't a bad ball. Henman has some time, but he's inside the baseline. Takes it early.
Well, a more different start to his previous match you couldn't ask for from Henman. He was 4-love down against Kiefer. completely the opposite here, and overwhelming hrbaty, who just doesn't look as though he's got any sort of answers for this play.
Yeah, he's running out of ideas, and really the match hasn't started yet for him. And so this says a lot about Henman's preparation, dealing with this rain delay. He has come out razor sharp.
One I'd like to forget instantly, I'm sure.
Well, maybe he's not razor sharp, but he's very sharp. Of course, he's making the difficult ones, one of the few balls he has missed today.
Again, Henman electing to throw in something different. Wasn't a pacey serve, just 100 miles per hour, but up high, and again, hrbaty unable to deal with it. That's the type of point that the Slovak wants to play.
Yeah, the more tennis balls that he is allowed to hit, the more his rhythm grows. He's a player that gets better the more running and hitting he does.
Nobody's going to have an answer to that type of tennis.
Yeah, that time Henman yo-yoing hrbaty from one side, attacking to the other.
His first serve percentage throughout this tournament has been very respectable. The cumulative total for all of his previous 4 matches through to this stage is 58%. Especially when you consider Henman going for his first serve a lot more than in the past few years. It's pretty respectable. And again, it's another good first serve that extracts the error from hrbaty's racket. And Henman continuing his run, yet to drop a game, 5-love. Henman is today bidding to secure an 11th open-era Grand Slam semi-final appearance for British men. Only 4 men, though, account for the 10 previous British appearances. And Henman himself accounts for the last 5. The previous ones being Roger Taylor 3 times, once at the Australian Open in 1970, Wimbledon in 1970, and Wimbledon again in 1973. A couple of heartbreakers there for Taylor, 8-6 in the 5th against Dick Creeley and 7-5 in the 5th against Jan Koders. John Lloyd, the Australian Open in 1977, went on to reach the final there, run up to Vitas Gerulaitis, and Greg Rosetsky, 1997 at this tournament, runner-up to Patrick Rafter. Can let you know that Lindsay Davenport through to the semi-finals on Friday. She has crushed Shinobu Asigoe 6-1, 6-1 in 45 minutes. No real surprise there.
No, that's a nice road through for Lindsay. You know, after a difficult encounter with Venus Williams, she needed 5 match points to finish off the American. A nice, easy road through to the semifinals. And she will feel good about that.
And again, unbelievable play from Henman. Just a little lucky at the end, maybe.
Yeah, this is a pretty good volley by hrbaty. And that is a solid pass.
If I go back to the point you made at the end of the first set, I mean, Henman just looks so comfortable, as though hrbaty doesn't have enough power to trouble him.
Yeah, and I think this is in part the preparation that Paul Annacone has given Henman, that say, hey, you're moving well enough to cover this guy's attacking game. You know, don't be afraid to stay in the rally and play a little bit of defense. Use your offense when you can. This is not an Andy Roddick. This is Dominic hrbaty.
Pulled that off once in the first break point that he had in the second game of this match, where he just brought hrbaty in. Tried it a couple of times since, hasn't worked. Timing at the moment for hrbaty all over the place, and I think again it comes down to the mixture of spin and pace that Henman's putting on the ball.
Yeah, and that forehand, he gave that one a pretty good ride, and hrbaty was expecting something different. Missed it badly in the alley.
Half a chance for Henman to get up the early break at the start of this second. Just wide again, another unforced error from hrbaty. And if there was a weakness in the Slovak's game, it's probably a lack of versatility.
Yeah, and well, particularly on the low balls, he doesn't have that nice brush up the back of the ball to produce topspin. He's playing flat from below the level of the net.
So Henman with a second chance to break. Deep serve. Was it too deep? Henman certainly feels it's worth a look. There's not going to be any change from Jake Gardner, I'm sure.
I can't tell from here, to be honest. I can't tell from here, to be honest.
Well, that's his line. He's going to stick with it. Twice repeating, I can't tell.
Henman just checking that the Cyclops machine is on that calls that line. That is magnificent. A truly wonderful shot up the line from Henman.
Yeah, and I think he got that one with a little bit of anger. He put a little extra on it. He did not enjoy that last call. The look in his eye says it all.
hrbaty saves the day with that passing shot. Henman worked his way into the net well.
Yeah, good attacking tennis. Sadly, he had to go into the backhand. That was the correct play. But hrbaty is dangerous off that wing.
That's, again, unbelievable tennis from henman.
Yeah, everything he thinks about doing, he's executing. He saw that second serve early, attacked with depth, volleyed with angle.
It was certainly very close. Jake Garner again isn't going to get involved in that after last night.
I don't think any umpires will be overruling tonight.
Fourth chance to break slips by for henman. Henman's mind at the moment, he kind of feels he's had a couple of rough calls in this game. Tries to employ that tactic yet again, but hrbaty up to the task and proved strong in that game. And there you can see some of the spectators trying to get into this grandstand court, and to be honest, it's been a difficult atmosphere, I would think, for both players early on.
Yeah, it really has been. Plus, there's a fair amount of movement from these people settling into their seats. You can see just how empty it is. So people are really clamoring at the last minute to try and get over here. And henman very tidy when he's had his chances here in that opening set. A couple of break points, collected both of them.
This is a big moment now for henman. You can hear his frustrations there. They're pretty evident. He's telling Eliza what he thought of that call in the previous game on the break point. Ah, inch perfect. Breathtaking point from the British number one.
Oh, hrbaty was pressing him all over the place. Look at that counter there. And how about this finish? Just dipping right inside. And even hrbaty has to say too good with that. Wow. Such an important point early in the second set. And he delivers a gem.
Well, I'm not surprised henman's going to have another look at this. And his first double fault, not completely convinced it was a double fault.
Well, after last night's tennis with so many close calls, I think the linesmen are on edge. I mean, it shows here there have been some very close calls that questionable as well. And Jake Garner looking very uncomfortable in the chair.
It's been a serve that's brought him quite good dividends throughout the course of his 4 previous matches. The one into the body, used it well against the Frenchman, Golmard. Just a few people milling around, and henman having to take his time here.
That will be disappointment for hrbaty. His best shot, and he's not even getting it up the net. You can see, what the heck is wrong with my backhand?
Henman scores with the big forehand. And even though that's early in the second set and he's had a convincing opening set win, that was a pretty key moment to come through.
You can see this one woman is having to hold back a rush of people trying to get to their seats here. I don't envy her.
That's good. Can you get that right there?
I think, you know, everybody's been caught a little bit on the hop. I don't think there's anyone sitting here today, as long as we have, that expected this much play. Unable to really get anything on that. There was a clever shot by the Slovak.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I don't think henman is completely comfortable with his movement. You can see just a little stiff getting down to that low angled ball. So there's definitely some of that residue from the sore back he had just a week ago, and it's been improving, but it is not 100%.
You can see henman still looking down at that line in the opening service game from hrbaty in this set. And as we saw last night, 1 point can make such a big difference. So hrbaty holds on to his serve and comfortably this time. His first love service game of this match, and people now have got word that henman and hrbaty out on this grandstand court, filing in. And henman trails 1-2 second set.